So as from this point onward, I will be talking about contributions. Now, contributions, in my own words, are anything that you do to improve the content of a repository. So now I just want to show you what GitHub recognizes as contributions. And I'm going to click on my profile here in the I'm going to click on my profile picture in the top right and then open my profile page up in a new tab. Yeah, I'm going to be opening up things in new tabs because I don't want to be going back and forth just using one tab, right? So now I'm in my profile GitHub, I'm in my GitHub profile page, and I'm going to scroll down to the place where I have contribution activity. Now, we're going to talk about these contributions a lot more later, right? Show how to do them, right? But then for now, let's just briefly see what GitHub sees as contribution. So GitHub recognizes commits as contributions. GitHub recognizes pull requests as contributions. GitHub recognizes review on pull requests as contribution. GitHub recognizes issues as contributions. You can also see here that creating or joining an organization is seen as a contribution. Even creating your own repository is a contribution. And then even starting a discussion is a contribution. So there are plenty contributions mentioned here. We cannot do everything, right? But I will be talking about the major ones that people actually participate in. So I'm going to close up the profile page now. So I will open up the original repo in another tab, right? As I said earlier. And then we're just quickly going to talk about issues before we move on. So let's say you notice a problem with some part of a repository, whether it's a code base or it's a documentation, whatever it is, right? It just has content and some part of the content of the repository has issue, right? In the case of code, for example, this could be a storage for code of a website, and then maybe while you were using the website, you click on a button, maybe and the button is not working as it should, like it's not working. When you click on it, it does nothing, and it's supposed to do a particular action. So you can raise that issue of that, oh, this button is not working very well, or the way it's supposed to, this is what it's supposed to do but it's doing like this. That kind of thing. So you can actually report issues with the content of a repository. So in this case, the GitHub training does not contain code, right? It contains writings, right? So, and in the README, let's just say that, or assuming that in the real world now, it's not advisable to use the ampersand, or it's not advisable to use the symbol to indicate and we want to spell out the word and, but the README title says Git and GitHub training and uses symbol to represent and that is a problem. So if that is a problem or that is an issue, for example, you can then open up the issues tab in the original repo, click on the issues tab, and then you'll see a list of issues, right? You don't have to be the one to create issues most times, right? You can actually find issues there that might interest you to work on. If you find no problem, or if you want to create a new issue, after clicking on the issues tab, then you click on the new issue button, and then you type in the title that you want. I already know what I want to write, which is what I explained earlier. So I've written it as a title, and then I've written the issue body, right? And I've previewed it. Well, the structure of an issue is usually better than this, but this is just an example. So I'm okay with this. So I'm just going to submit a new issue. Now take note of the issue number that GitHub generates for us, because we're going to be using uh, issue numbers later on, right? So I'm going to go back to my own fork. Yeah. So you create, when you're dealing with a repository that is not your own, you go to the original repo to create an issue, and then you come back to your own fork. If you feel like you want to solve the issue, come back to your own fork and then solve the issue there. But then remember that we said that we are not going to be following best practices, right? For now, we just want to learn basic things. So right now we're in the main branch, and you should know that um, you should not make direct changes to a default branch like the main branch. Main is also called master sometimes, right? The old name for main branch is master. So if you see master, it's the same, it serves the same purpose as main, right? It contains a more stable and consistent code, right? So we'll go into those details later. So you will click on this button that has the name of the branch in it. So we have main on that button, and when we click on it, in the drop down we can see where we can either find or create a branch. So we type in there the name of the branch that we want to create. So I will say fix abbreviation. I'll just shorten it, fix hyphen abbrev, right? So let your branch name reflect what you are doing. So if you are updating something, you can say update hyphen something. If you are fixing something, you can say fix hyphen. It's up to you how you want to name your branch, right? So if you're adding a file, add hyphen, maybe something like that. So I'm just going to click on create branch fix abbrev from main, right? So from main, it shows you where you are creating the branch from. So I'm just going to click on that. And when I click on that, you will see that the name on the button that carries the branch name has changed to fix abbrev, which is the name of the new branch I created. You will also see it in the URL like I specified before. So now I can go ahead and make my change, right, from this new branch. So I'm going to click on the readme because that's what I want to edit, right? And then I want to edit my readme file. You can edit it from this preview here on the repo, or you can just click on the readme.md itself. You will still find an edit button in there. So whichever one. So I'm just going to uh, make my edit and change the symbol to and and then now I preview. I see that, well, I'm good to go. I've checked and I feel confident that they will accept this my change, right? So, and how you can still just make sure that you are in the right branch or you are doing the right thing is after the this repo name slash the file or the folders, you see in, you can see in fix abbrev. So here I know that, oh, i'm I'm not making it in the wrong branch. I'm not making the change in the wrong branch, because if you see in main here or in develop here, you know that, oh, you actually forgot to create your branch. So now I've previewed, I'm comfortable with the change I've made. I'm going to scroll down and then I'm just going to write a commit message and say fix abbreviation or something like that, or symbol, whichever. You can write better commit messages, but just because of time, I'm just going to use this. And then uh, here I see commit directly to the fix abbrev branch. So you can see this being ticked, and then this showing fix abbrev also shows me that I'm on the right track. If you forgot to create a new branch, you could actually that's before you started making your changes. If you forgot to create a new branch, and up here before what you are editing, you see in maybe main branch, and then down here you see commit directly to main branch or develop branch or whatever branch you were coming from. That means you forgot to uh, create a branch before you started. You can actually click on this create new branch for this commit and start a pull request here. So, but in the next video, I may just show you why it's not advisable to do this. Yeah, when you are dealing with a repository that is not yours. So I'm just going to go back to checking this commit directly to fix a brief branch, right? So that we know that our commit is going to the right place, and I'm going to commit my changes. So now that I have committed my changes, you can see that commits uh, my commit message shows up among the commits. If I check this 106 commits that's here, I can see that my latest commit is at the top, right? So I'm still in the fix a brief branch. In the next video, I will show you how to make a pull request.